Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the weekly media Zoom for Penn State Wrestling. Today, we're going to have head coach Cael Sanderson with us, as well as sophomore Beau Bartlett, our 149-pounder. Beau's joined us first because he's got to get to class here in a little bit. Beau, thank you very much for being with us this morning.
My pleasure.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get started here. Questions for Beau. Jim Carlson, get us started.
Hey, Beau. When you see guys like Hildebrand and Berge joining the team at this stage of the season, what does that say to you and the team about the staff's commitment to challenge for, Big Ten and NCAA championships?
That's a good one. That's a good one to start off. I think it shows that everyone wants to be at our best, and bringing in people that also really want to be national champions, really want to be on top of the podium in March. The more people we can have there in the room, we don't have 10 people doing that. Everyone on the roster, everyone wants to be that. So bringing in more great individuals like that just elevates everyone, motivates everyone to keep going.
Clay, go ahead.
Okay, we're going to try this again. How's the mic sound?
Sounds great.
All right, I appreciate it. Beau, can you give us an idea of where you're at weight-wise in terms of walking around and what weight you see yourself at long-term?
So don't think I'm at the cutting weight point yet, but low 50s, so 49, it's always one workout away. It's really very doable, but contrary to some popular belief, I do not weigh 143 pounds, wrestling 149. I'm a little bit bigger than that. We've been trying to get bigger. For the future, these guys are tall, but it just, whatever happens. Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable going either way, in the future, 41, 49. I mean, I think we can limit it down to those two, but I feel comfortable either way. Just learning to grow. I'm feeling more comfortable each match, and whatever happens, I'm excited.
Ben Surface.
So, Beau, you talked a little about the 141, 149 thing there. You wrestled the last 2 years, right, at 149. Are you comfortable there now, or are you still learning the ropes a little bit at the different weight class?
I am comfortable. I feel strong. I lift I lift pretty heavy weights, and then even when we're wrestling, I feel comfortable. It's more like a mental thing, getting to my attacking, because when I grab legs, I score. We have a percentage rate. I think I have a 94% finish rate when I touch legs, so it's just actually putting myself there and finishing.
Greg Pickle.
So, Beau, to build off of that, then, what are some of the things you have to do to make that a more, not that it's not consistent, but a more match in and match out part of your game when you're out there on the mat?
I think feeling comfortable, and you just become more comfortable by getting these matches, and it's difficult. I think I have 21 college matches now, and normally, and this is kind of a second season, and normally people are already getting this many matches in a redshirt year, that 15 to 20 mark. So really, it takes time, but I feel like it's here now. I've got it under my belt now, and I'm ready to start firing.
Zach Allen.
Hey, Beau. I know the journeyman duels were a few weeks ago, and it was the first time in a few years where we were able to see a ton of the top programs get together and wrestle. What are your thoughts on a potential dual meet national championship or tournament?
I think it's cool for the hype. I think typically you get that in a sense with the Big Ten schedule, because on average I feel most of the top teams are in the Big Ten. So no matter what, we are getting the head-to-head matches. It's just not in a tournament format. But we are wrestling pretty much all the tough teams. So either way, we're just getting the match. We're getting the matches in a little different order. It's not as condensed, and these matches back to back, it gets tough. If in the tournament setting, if you had 4 big duels, but I like the way it's paced right now, but I'm open to whatever happens.
Jim Carlson.
Beau, a lot of big matches coming up. That won't only be close as far as team score, but a lot of outstanding individual matches coming up as well. Does that make it more exciting, that prospect, for you looking ahead here?
It does. Just these duels against big teams, it's really exciting. I love this energy. I used to say the same thing in middle school and high school, at every pretty much age division. I was like, man, I live for these big matches. I love them. And since coming to college, I've tried to that might have been my email. I've tried to create a lot more energy and bring that same energy to each match, So if anything, I feel like I'm like up here for big matches, and I'm trying to get my energy up for like the smaller matches, like non-Big Ten matches or maybe like top 10 teams. But I know when it is time to go, I bring it no matter what. So I'm excited.
Hey, Cobbler.
Hey, Beau. Obviously you had a stellar prep career, 4-time, national prep champion, things like that. And, your most recent matches you've had some barn burners, you've been close, you've had to eke some out. But, some people might be very critical of that, seeing how successful prep career you had and things like that. So what do you maybe say to some of those people that are maybe kind of critical of the way you're wrestling and, you're not really dominating guys like they think you should be?
Mm-hmm. I say I don't like to compare myself to others, but look at any guys that are multiple national champions. Look at how they wrestled their first 25 matches in college, and it was the exact same as mine. Like across the board, guys that are pinning machines, guys that are teching guys in the national finals. Their first, because this is my second year, but I have 21 college matches. These guys were getting like 30, 40 in their first year. So it's everything's going to plan. And if anything, we're gonna try to get ahead of this and get it sooner than later. But I know these guys get like decisions against all these guys, ranked, unranked. Their first year, their first couple matches, and then by the time they finish, they're multiple-time national champions, Hodge Trophy winners. So I understand the process, and I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and improving.
Tanyon Loose.
But just knowing that like you guys brought in a couple transfers and Michigan did the same with like a couple high level guys. I was obviously good. Does it feel like there's any like more energy in the wrestling room right now, just knowing how competitive this Big Ten title race could be?
I would say we get more competitive in hopes of reaching our own goals, but it's not impacted by anyone else's team. With the new recruits, obviously for spectators, it's cool to watch the team race. But for us, their whole team could be back. They could decide to not wrestle tomorrow. Like they could, whatever they want. At the end of the day, we all, as a team, we want to get our hand raised. We want to be the national champions. So it doesn't matter what the other teams are doing. It's definitely exciting from like a spectator, like the fans, right? But we just want to do what we're going to do no matter what.
And Surface.
Oh, kind of going off the earlier question about people raising questions about your wrestling style. Have you ever made an effort to be a little bit more aggressive early on, or are you kind of just more so taking what the opposing wrestler gives you?
Try to be more aggressive. That's in my ear a lot. Try to be more aggressive. So yeah, definitely not trying to wait back. I think it depends a little bit, but no matter what, gotta bring back that eagerness to score. Gotta bring that, elevate that.
Andy Elder.
Well, I'm sure the coaches have had some interesting or maybe difficult conversations with some of your teammates with some of the changes in the lineup. And I'm wondering, what is it about their approach and about how they coach that enables teammates to hear what they say and not only buy in and believe it, but want to stay in the environment, even if they're not starting? I'm sure they had a conversation with you like that about moving up to 49 and trust us, you can do it. What is it about them that makes the team believe in them and trust what they're asking you to do?
Let me think. Well, in my case, I just didn't feel like cutting weight. So the coaches let you do whatever you want. And I was just like, yeah, I walked into a lift one day summer. I was like, man, I kind of like lifting weights. Like, why not? They're like, you sure? Like, like if you're all for it, like, let's start throwing weights on the rack and just have you lift more. And we just figured out they leave it up to the wrestlers. So that's awesome. There's really no bias. There's not favorites. You guys wrestle off, and like whatever happens, go whatever way you want to go. So they stay out of it. They do a great job of staying out of it and not having any favorites. And ultimately, since everyone knows, everyone gets multiple shots, you keep wrestling, you keep trying to improving, showing up to practice, showing up to your classes, having a good character. And, they preach that, if you're doing all the right things, you will wrestle in the Penn State singlet. Have your time, keep your weight close. Things come up, people get COVID, they get sick, things happen. They literally promised just after the last match, if you're doing everything right, you're close to weight, you will get a chance to wrestle. Just be ready.
And last one for Beau, so we can let him get going. Tanyon Loose.
But you talked about guys in the team just wanting to achieve their own goals. I'm curious to know, like, do you think that you're on the right track to achieve your goals so far this season? Or if not, what do you think you need to improve upon in kind of the second half of the season?
I do believe I'm on the right track. I'm heading in the right direction towards reaching what I want to do. And I think just moving forward, it's the small details. Small details specifically, like in matches, how to get to my attacks, how to keep the foot on the gas and keep attacking throughout the entire match. I'm not trying to win the match so much. Coach Cael's been talking about this a lot. Not trying to win the match, but just keep scoring points over and over again. Doesn't matter if the score is like 2-1. Actually, I went for a Winn-Dixie in the last match. I got taken down, got up, and then like it's like just that energy. Like keep trying to do things over and over again, and like don't settle. And then I think towards the end of the match, like last 15 seconds, I was kind of backing up a bit and going back and watching the match. I didn't like that. So just moving, keep going, and not letting the clock determine how I'm wrestling.
All right, Beau, thank you very much. I appreciate you getting up with us this morning and chatting with us before you head off for class. So thank you very much. We'll see you over in the room later today.
Of course. See you. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, Beau.
And now we'll bring in Coach Sanderson. Cael, how are you?
Hello.
There he is. All right, Cael, we got a full house here for you today. So folks, get your hands up. Start with questions for Cael. Jim Carlson, get us started.
Morning, Cael.
Hey.
Hey, bringing in Drew at midseason, now Bergie supposedly coming back here. What message do you think that sends to the team in terms of your commitment to annually challenge for conference and national titles?
Well, I think the name of the game, whether is competing, as a staff, we're competing, that's all we want our kids to do is just compete. That's more important than whether you win or lose. It's just the way you compete and just always getting back up if you get knocked down, that kind of thing. So, I think they know that this isn't like the most important thing to us in life, and I think that gives us a good perspective. But at the same time, we're not going to, we're going to compete, in everything we do. And I think that's kind of maybe that message that sends, but I don't think that's anything new. That's just kind of, that's the name of the game.
Andy Elder.
Cael, with Drew at 125 and Brady Bergie potentially making the lineup, I'm sure you had to had some tricky conversations with the guys that they're supplanting to, explain what's going on, to maybe, check on their feelings or whatever. How difficult are those conversations, and what are the types of things that you focus on? Because despite the changes in your lineup, you guys never seem to have people leave the program disappointed or dissatisfied with the way they've been treated. Everybody seems to stay, no matter whether they're the starter or they get moved to a backup role. So how difficult are those conversations with people that are replaced in the lineup?
Well, I think it's just, a matter of being fair. Everybody has an equal opportunity to make the team and to compete for the team. And, that'll never change. We're trying to put the best team we can out there. And when you come to Penn State, we're competing, and our goal is to be the best team in the country and to win and compete for national titles every year. And so I think that's just, an expectation. Sometimes those conversations, even like Hildebrandt, we didn't know, obviously we'd talked to him and we thought there was a chance he was coming, but then he wasn't coming. But when he said he was coming, he was like literally on campus, in like 3 or 4 days later. So it's not like, hey, it's not something that you prep or prepare for. Bergie, same thing. It was a pretty quick decision on his part. I think obviously you'll talk to him maybe at some point here, but it was just something that I think he'd probably been considering or had been considering even last year, whether he was ready to really step away from the sport. And, that window of opportunity kind of presented himself. A lot of times assistant coaches are wrestling 3 times as much as the kids on the team, and so they're wrestling and they're in good shape and they're ready to go. And, he sees that window. So, Yeah, I would just say, it's just, you just be fair. If my son's on the team or my cousin or my nephew or whatever, it's the same thing. We're trying to put the best team we possibly can out there, and that, that's my job at Penn State, and my job is to help every individual on the team be the best they can be and do whatever we can to help them be the best they can be, and that's what we do. I mean, everyone's not always happy, right? I mean, we have parents just like every other team in the country, and kids that everyone doesn't leave happy. That's not reality. But we do the best that we can, and just try to be fair, and I think everybody, everyone sees the same things we see, and where there's potential to score points and not, and maybe somebody's ready to step up there and score points at the Nationals, and maybe they're not quite ready, right? And so that's just something to work for, right? I mean, we when the program becomes one with it that you inherit a spot and you don't earn, that's that's a little bit, that's not obviously a good thing, and that's a reality with the circumstances that you have in college sports. But yeah, I think I would just say, we just be fair, treat everybody. We love all the guys on our team. But, just because we love you, that doesn't mean we're going to, put you out there, and if you're not giving a great effort, and I'm not saying we don't have anybody not giving a great effort. But, that's not the case. We love, our guys at 25 of probably aren't naturally 25 pounders, Campbell and Shunk, but they still made the effort to make 25, and, and did a great job and put a great effort in. And, same thing as we're seeing in 57, 65, our guys are putting a great effort in there too. So, we're proud of everything they're doing. We're just going to compete just like we asked them to do. Say compete in every position. And we got to do the same as the staff. We got to practice what we preach.
Nate?
Hey, Cael, kind of two-part question. With Brady, I mean, is Brady here? How long has he been here? Things like that. What have you seen since the time that he's left and now when he's come back? And what's the plans? Is he going to go 57? Is he going to go 65? Like, what's the idea there, and how quickly do you think we'll see him?
That's a good question. Nate, I don't know the answer to that yet. I mean, he just got here Sunday. He came in, so he's in classes. I think yesterday, today, obviously, and we have practice here at 1:30 or 3. So we'll see him, and then we just got to figure out what the plan is moving forward here, and not only with him but also the other guys, obviously in the weight, and making sure that is there a wrestle off? When is there a wrestle off? Do we need a wrestle off? I mean, there's all those different questions that we have that those are some things we gotta work out. Obviously, Brady has a ton of experience, and for him, it's just a matter of making sure he's feeling good and he's healthy, and when he's ready, he'll go.
Zach Allen?
Hey, Coach. I know the journeyman collegiate duels were a few weeks ago, so it's kind of passed. But what would your thoughts be on like a dual meet national championship? Because that was like the first time in a few years we've seen all like the big name programs together and wrestle each other. So what would your thoughts be on that?
Well, I mean, if you look back in time, there's been a lot of discussion over this. I'm not against having those big events. And I think when we had that national duel, what did we call it? We did like a Big Ten challenge where the number one team in the Big Ten would wrestle the Big Ten top ranked team. And then you go down the line, and those dual meets were unbelievable. And we were fortunate in those years that we got to be in that championship duel, and I think we were with Oklahoma State, but those were two of the most exciting duels. And I mean, we've been in a lot of great duels, but they were pretty special. So I think my concern would just be, we like the way the national tournament is now. And, we don't want to change that team format to where the team championship is given in a dual meet format. But as far as an event and following along with what football has done, obviously they've gone away from it, but for good reason. But having a bowl championship, something along that line, where you just have non-traditional matchups, and then you have these. I mean, there's a lot of different points of view, but definitely not against having those big events. And I think that was a lot of fun. I mean, we don't I don't think we've dueled Cornell in a long time. We got a chance to wrestle them. Probably haven't wrestled Northern Iowa. I mean, at least since I've been at Penn State, and then and Arizona State. Yeah, I mean, we've wrestled them a few times, but I mean, those are some exciting matchups. Same thing. I mean, you had Iowa on the other bracket who won, and they got to see some teams that they don't see very often, and I think that's exciting stuff. So I think it was a success. Obviously, depending on what your goals are, you can change the format. I don't think it's probably an ideal format, but just even showing kind of the value of some of those matches is I think important for the future of Olympic sports, especially directly speaking to wrestling. But yeah, I like the national championship the way it is right now, and I think we don't want to change that. That's what. But yeah, it was a great event.
Greg Pickle.
Coach, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Yep.
You were down a couple starters on Sunday. Just where are you at from a health perspective at this point? And is that just something you're kind of going to have to deal with on a match by match, week by week, month by month basis at this point, just the way things are?
Yeah. I thought we were hoping, would be through that in November. But yeah, I mean, it's still, it's everything you're seeing that's consistent across the nation. Obviously, it's consistent across probably each team and each university, each town. So, you have a lot of COVID going around. The flu has been the nastiest batch that I ever remember. It's been knocking people out. So, yeah, I think it's just going to be the way it is. And nobody's safe, vaccinated, not vaccinated. You've had COVID, you haven't had COVID, everyone's kind of getting it again, so that's just kind of the reality. Luckily, this, the NCAA and the Big Ten and just thankfully this last month, Penn State kind of changed some of their policies to be a little bit more competitive in return to play there. But it is what it is. Everyone's in the same boat. So we just got to do the best we can and just be grateful that we're wrestling.
Tanyon.
Okay, just looking ahead and kind of seeing that you're headed into like the teeth of your schedule, really, where do you think the team is at right now? And what would you like to see improved upon kind of looking ahead towards March?
I give you the same answer every time, and I'm not, trying to be boring or anything. That's just kind of who I am, I guess. But we just want to compete with enthusiasm, and just be consistent. We don't care if it's the lowest rated team or the highest rated team. We just want to be the same person every time we compete and wrestle the same way, same enthusiasm. That's our goal. That's as a program, as a coach, that's what I would like to see. Naturally, that's not always the case. And I think this team is one that seems to step up the bigger the match. And I think we saw that in the finals at the collegiate duels there. And so, yeah, we'll see. That's the fun part as a coach. We just prepare these guys and try to pump them up and make sure they know they're ready, make sure they're in shape and have everything they need to be successful. But, it's up to them. These are their goals and, this is their team, right? And what are they going to do with this opportunity? That's their call. It's not my call. I can yell at the refs and whatever, but, I can't do much. We're just going to sit there and support these guys and see how they choose to compete.
Ben Surface.
Cael, we were talking to Beau Bartlett earlier, and he said he was, both comfortable and confident at 141 and 149. Where do you think his future is in terms of what weight class? And do you think he's already reached, or do you think he's reached his ceiling at 149 yet?
I think Beau's just, I think he's getting better every match. And, I think I got on there at the end when he was talking, but yeah, like with Beau, he's just such a great athlete and we just want to create action and we'd rather see, a 10-9 match, even if he loses at this point, just because he's going to get better faster doing that. He's hard to score on. He's a winner, he's a great kid. He works hard, does everything right. So he's improving. Where he'll be next year, I don't know. That's just something that we'll have to look at once this season ends. But yeah, I think he's getting better every match. And I think he's a threat. He can compete with anybody. But he just also needs to just be able to go out there and let it rip a little bit and just have some fun. And I think we're seeing more and more of that. Like seeing him try, he said he tried to win Dixie there. that's great. That's the stuff we want to see, because that's how he's going to improve. And I mean, that's what it takes to win the nationals, right? Is you have to just compete freely and not really be afraid to make mistakes. If you make a mistake, big deal. You just make up for it with a little hustle.
Jim Carlson.
Cael, January is probably most strenuous month of the schedule, right? As far as, what are some of the intangibles you watch for in terms of keeping the guys as fresh as possible when it comes to traveling, 2-match weekends, big matches, things like that?
Yeah, I think this is the most, well, the nationals are obviously the most fun, but we do what we do because we like to compete, and you like to compete against the best teams. I think when you're a high level athlete, or, you've been coaching for as long as, we have as a staff, it's those big matches that are really exciting. And those are the ones you're preparing for. Obviously you prepare for those by being the best in every match, like I, alluded to earlier. But I think it's just up to the kids. I mean, we can advise them and tell them, hey, you need to be in bed by 10 o'clock and you need to do this and don't eat that. And take care of all these little things that you can control, but ultimately it's up to them. Sometimes in the Big Ten, being in State College, it's a long trip. So I think we're good this year, but the main concerns I have this time of the year are when, we're traveling to the Midwest and then back competing in the same weekend. That's those kind of trips. It's that travel that makes it more difficult. And, we're not, for the most part, we're flying commercial or busing. So, it's those little things and it just takes a lot of discipline on our guys' part. But I don't think we have any of those trips this year that I can think of. I mean, a couple of years ago, we had 3 trips to the Midwest, 3 weekends in a row, which was, that's those kind of challenges are take some thinking. But yeah, I think we're good to go. We just need to compete and just have fun doing what we're doing. I mean, this is just a game, right? And it's supposed to be for fun, and attacking your goals and being the best you can be is the most fun part of it.
I got time for a couple more here for Cael, so we're going to get some people who haven't had a chance yet. JP Pearson, go ahead.
Hi, Coach.
Hey.
Last week, we asked Greg Kirkland about who he works out with. I was wondering if he worked out with Max and Beard, and he told us that he works out with you and Snyder and Varner. But he also mentioned he started out his answer with Saran Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I know that I did a little lookups on him, and I know he's kind of new to the NLWC. What can you tell us about Saran and how he fits into the program as a workout partner?
Well, Saran he is an awesome guy. I mean, I didn't really know him obviously until we brought him in here, but you just want to make sure you have you just meet all the needs of the student athletes, and we needed a big guy that was just a good partner for Greg, and he had actually reached out to me earlier and expressed some interest. And then, we lost Eric Thompson. He took a job and is on staff at Arizona State, which was a nice move for him. And we loved Eric. We had him here for, I don't know, seems like forever, 10 years, something like that. So we just needed a big guy, right? Because you're wrestling, Kyle's a, 97 and Varner was a 97. And I'm not going to tell you what weight I am, but you want to have that, have a bigger body just to feel it. And Saran's been amazing. He's such a good guy, great perspective, and he's been a real blessing to us. He's only been here, maybe 2 or 3 months, but a huge addition to the NLWC. We're really happy to have him. Very grateful to have him.
Gabe Herman.
Yeah. Hi, Coach. I'm just curious if you could touch on what you're looking most forward to in this Rutgers matchup this upcoming weekend.
Well, I think there's just a lot of great matches. Rutgers has a very strong lineup, and they've been crushing it this year if you've been following them, which I would guess that you have. So, it's just going to be a great match. And, Rutgers is getting better and better, and they have some really good kids on their team and a really solid lineup. So it's just one of those dual meets where, we just need everybody's best effort, and we need a team, just a great team effort. So just looking forward to competing again. And it's when we start competing, that's when we can really start making progress with our guys, because then they really kind of see, strengths and maybe some weaknesses that they can work on and things they can correct. Because you could train, in a non-competitive way in your room for years, and kids probably aren't going to make this, just not going to make the same jumps as they are when they actually start competing and things get exposed, good and bad. So we're just trying to keep getting better and so we can be at our best in March.
And last one, Greg Pickle, go ahead.
Cael, last week you were waiting to see what the situation might be with Michael Beard. Do you have an update there, especially with, as we talked about earlier, just some of the lineup changes and things that you have to deal with backups and things like that as March gets closer?
Yeah, no, I don't really have an update on Mike. I mean, there was just some circumstances that have kind of prevented him from being able to, move forward in that realm. So, there's nothing I can really discuss. I think he's feeling good, and he'll be good to go here shortly. But I don't really have any updates on him at this time.
All right, folks. Well, we're kind of up against the clock here, so I do appreciate everyone joining us today. Cael, thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll see everybody Sunday, folks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.